Too many Palestinian civilians have been killed. Do you agree with that?
Well, tell us how to do it differently. Yeah, what is too many people dying in World War II after Pearl Harbor? Did the American public worry about how many people were dying to destroy Tokyo and Berlin? I know this is not the same, but it's similar.
This is my video update on this Monday, midday, December the 4th. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the statements from U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin that he made a couple of days ago during a speech. And Lloyd Austin, he said some very interesting things during this speech that he gave. He talked about the war in Israel and in Gaza. He talked about Project Ukraine, and he also talked about the U.S. military power and chewing gum. And we're going to discuss all three of these statements that Lloyd Austin made, because he said some things worth discussing. And we can start things off with what he said about Israel, because Lloyd Austin, he said that if Israel continues on its current course, on its current trajectory, it will suffer a strategic defeat. That is what Lloyd Austin said. Israel is on course to suffer a strategic defeat. And so the $1 million question is, why would the Pentagon continue to provide Israel with hundreds, thousands of missiles and bombs and money, knowing that they're heading towards a strategic defeat in this war? Well, the answer is once again the sunk cost fallacy. Now, I've talked about the sunk cost fallacy many times in connection with Project Ukraine. I first mentioned the sunk cost fallacy in St. Petersburg, I believe 3-4 months ago, and it holds true for Ukraine, and it also holds true for Israel. So the sunk cost fallacy, well, it is a behavior that may be described as throwing good money after bad, while refusing to succumb to what may be described as cutting one's losses. People can remain in failing relationships because they have already invested too much to leave. That is the definition of a sunk cost, according to Wikipedia. And that is the foundation of the sunk cost fallacy. It's often attributed to investments, investing good money after bad, but it can easily be carried over to relationships, and in this case, to geopolitics. And so while the Pentagon knows that the war in Israel, the way it's being conducted, the war on Gaza, the way it's being conducted, is going to eventually lead to a strategic defeat for Israel and, by extension, the United States, the Biden White House continues to provide money and weapons and missiles and bombs to Israel, and continues to support the escalation in Gaza, because it's good money after bad. The United States, the Biden White House, they've invested so much in this war, so much rhetoric, so much bravado, so much strategic planning, belief and hope that this would open up the doors to a defeat of Iran, to a war with Iran, to a further fragmentation of the Middle East, perhaps even to the regime change of Assad. They've invested so much into this conflict in Israel that even though it is now not going according to their plans, they can't turn back. They can't cut it loose. So they continue to invest money and weapons and time and resources into this conflict. And so let me read you. I hope that made sense. Maybe it didn't make sense, but this will make sense. It's a tweet from Arnaud Bertrand, and I think he summarizes what's going on here very well, better than I can. He says, there's no overstating how extraordinary such a statement by Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin is, warning Israel is heading towards strategic defeat. In this kind of a fight, the center of gravity is the civilian population. And if you drive them into the arms of the enemy, you replace a tactical victory with a strategic defeat. That's the quote from Austin. Essentially, saying what is obvious, common sense. You create more Hamas than you destroy by killing civilians. And as such, what Israel has been doing so far is nothing but dig the hole it's in deeper and deeper. After obviously, it's doing all this with Pentagon weapons and support in a myriad of ways. So Austin's words are pretty disingenuous, but they see Israel as their unsinkable aircraft carrier in the region. So they must feel that were they to stop this active support, it'd sink pretty quickly, which they aren't ready to do, which actually goes to illustrate just how deep the hole Israel and America have put themselves in. The unsinkable aircraft carrier is taking water and needs constant U.S. support to avoid sinking, but the U.S. is now telling them publicly in very frank terms that their actions are actually accelerating the sinking. Sunk cost may be described as throwing good money after bad while refusing to succumb to what may be described as cutting one's losses. That explains the current policy of the United States towards Israel. It also explains the U.S.'s policy towards Project Ukraine, the collective West's policy towards Project Ukraine. So the reports are that Israel is now, these aren't reports, these are actions. Israel has now started military operations in the south of Gaza, and the IDF, they stated yesterday that the operation in South Gaza will be no less powerful than in the north, and Israel is seeking to achieve no less results with an attack on the southern part of the Palestinian enclave, according to an IDF chief of staff. So as Israel continues to fight the war in Gaza in much the same way that it fought this war in the north of Gaza, you have very high-level officials in the Biden White House, the Pentagon chief, no less Lloyd Austin, saying that while you may achieve a tactical victory in the end by trying to eradicate Hamas in this manner, if that is indeed the goal, but let's just say that's the goal that Israel has stated it is trying to accomplish, eradicating Hamas. By eradicating Hamas in this manner, you are actually creating more Hamas, and you are heading towards an eventual strategic defeat. So that was the comment from Lloyd Austin, and we can see that the actions in Israel, this trajectory towards a strategic defeat, is actually manifesting itself in an election defeat for the Democrat Party and for the Biden White House, because we are getting reports, as I've been talking about actually over the past week or so, that the Biden White House is losing the support of the Muslim voting base, which has traditionally voted for the Democrat Party, and I believe in 2020 came out big for the Biden campaign. But now the Muslim American electorate, is that the word? The Muslim American voter, they are signaling that they are going to abandon the Biden White House. The Guardian is reporting that Muslim leaders in swing states pledged to abandon Biden over his refusal to call for a ceasefire, warning that the president's stance on the war risks losing support of community in states critical to his chances for re-election. So states like Michigan, which is a critical state for Biden to carry in 2024, if Biden is going to end up being the candidate for the Democrat Party, states like Michigan are going to be lost for the Democrats. Now, does it mean that this Muslim American voting base is going to vote for Trump? Maybe, but most likely not. They just might sit this one out. That's a possibility. Maybe they'll vote for a third-party candidate, but the important part is that they're not going to be voting for Biden because of his policy in Israel. So the strategic defeat is not only about the war in Israel and in Gaza, it's actually hitting the Biden White House and the Democrat Party. But it's not stopping the hardcore neocons from continuing to push for full-on escalation, a wider war, and all-out hell to break loose in not only in Gaza, but throughout the Middle East. The neocons, they don't care about what can happen in a year or 2 or 3 years down the line. What they care about is causing chaos and destruction now, today. That's what the neocons care about. They never think about what happens in the future and how the actions of today affect the U.S.'s standing in the next 5 or 10 years. That's never a concern for the neocons, and that's why you have hardcore neocons like Lindsey Graham going on to CNN and saying this: did the American people, when asked about the destruction of Gaza, Lindsey Graham said, did the American people worry about how many people died when we destroyed Tokyo and Berlin? Question mark. That is what Lindsey Graham said when asked about the massive Palestinian civilian casualties during the first month of the war, and now what will inevitably take place during this IDF operation in the south of Gaza. For Lindsey Graham, his answer is, did Americans care about the people that died in Tokyo and Berlin? Quite an incredible statement from Lindsey Graham. That gives you some insight as to how the neocons, the very hardcore neocons, see this war in Israel and in Gaza. They really don't care. They don't care about its effects in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, in 2 years. They couldn't care less. What they want is never-ending war, never-ending chaos, never-ending suffering. Because for the neocons, they believe that chaos keeps them in power. So let's now talk about what Austin said in connection to Project Ukraine. So Austin, he said that the United States needs to continue to support Project Ukraine, of course, and that the United States, they need to ramp up military production in order to support Project Ukraine. And Lloyd Austin, he said that because of the dynamics of the conflict in Ukraine, the U.S. needs to quadruple munitions production. Quadruple munitions production. Lloyd Austin said that the U.S. plans to not double, not triple the production of munitions and the production of ammunition and shells, the U.S. is now planning to quadruple the production of military weapons and ammunition because of Ukraine's high burn rate for artillery. Austin said that the U.S. military has launched the most ambitious modernization effort in nearly 40 years of our defense industrial base. It'll see some $50 billion allocated to the sector, supporting tens of thousands of good American jobs in more than 30 states. So the conflict in Ukraine, Project Ukraine, is going to lead to a $50 billion investment in the military-industrial complex. And this is all good, according to Lloyd Austin, because it means more American jobs. This is why the American people need to support Project Ukraine for as long as it takes, because it means more American jobs. It also means more money and more profits for the military-industrial complex, and more money for the politicians that support the MIC companies. But Lloyd Austin didn't go there. He's talking about tens of thousands of good American jobs. So it's a pivot. It's another pivot with regards to Project Ukraine, and why it's so important to support Project Ukraine. It's really not about democracy and freedom and preventing Russia from recreating the Tsar Empire or the Soviet Union, or Putin's ambitions to conquer Poland or the Baltics or France or the UK. What this is really all about now is just about American jobs, everybody. It's just about American jobs. The sunk cost fallacy, the sunk cost fallacy of Ukraine. The U.S. is stuck. They are stuck. They know that Project Ukraine is failing. They know this, but they just can't cut their losses, can they? Not only can they not cut their losses, they're going to change the narrative so that they can make profits, and make big profits. And Dmitry Medvedev, he caught on to this statement from Lloyd Austin, and this is what Medvedev said. The U.S. is not driven by a desire to help stop Ukraine from disappearing from the world map, or by an intent to fight for democracy against tyranny. Moreover, the U.S. is apparently not even motivated by its repeatedly proclaimed goal of even confronting Russia to diminish its defense capacity. It turns out it's all about defense goods, commissioning to increase military production, output, and create jobs, and possibly about the enormous profit that the companies close to the Biden administration get from it. That is what Dmitry Medvedev said. It's now all about American jobs. It's just about American jobs now. As long as it takes, so that the Biden White House can create tens of thousands of American jobs. Project Ukraine, everybody. So another interesting thing that Lloyd Austin said during his speech yesterday was actually my video opener, where Lloyd Austin, from my video yesterday, where Lloyd Austin said that the U.S. military, it's not going to stop its support for the war in Israel and in Gaza, and it's not going to stop its support for Project Ukraine, because the US military, the Biden White House, they can do both of these things at the same time. They can probably even start a war with China as well, because the narrative that all politicians in the collective West love to throw out there is the script that they always, the line that they always like to say when they talk about the U.S. possibly being overextended or having to engage in multiple wars. Can the U.S. do it? Well, Lloyd Austin said in a statement yesterday, the U.S. can do it and they will do it because the U.S. military, the United States of America, can walk and chew gum at the same time. I love that script. I love that line. And all of the U.S. politicians, whether Democrats, Republicans, Lindsey Graham, Nikki Haley, Biden, Kirby, they love to say that line. Are you overextended? Are these too many conflicts for the United States to handle at once? The answer is always the same. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. Actually, I think Kirby or Blinken, they actually said that the United States can run and chew gum at the same time. So this used to be a cafe. Now it's closed. This would be a nice cafe here too. The Oasis Lounge Bar. Lounge cafe bar. So yeah, run and chew gum at the same time. I think that was Kirby that made that statement last week. They love that line. So, Lloyd Austin said that the U.S. can walk and chew gum at the same time, and we're going to put that experiment. I thought about it yesterday. We're going to put that experiment to the test. Is it really hard? Is it really difficult to walk and chew gum at the same time? So let's put it to the test, because it seems like the collective West leadership, they're the only ones that can walk and chew gum at the same time. Other countries, they can't pull it off. Lavrov can't pull it off. The Putin, he can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Xi Jinping can't do it. But Biden, Blinken, Kirby, Austin, neocon Nikki, Lindsey Graham, Ursula von der Crazy, Jungle Joseph, they can walk and chew gum at the same time. That's what makes them exceptional. So is it that difficult to walk and chew gum at the same time? Well, let's give it a go. Everybody, let me chew my gum here. And let's try to walk. Let's try to walk right down there. We're going to walk right there. Walk and chew gum at the same time. All right. So I'm chewing, and I'm going to start walking. Oh, what's going on? It's really difficult, actually. Whew. It's hard. I'm a bit shocked. It really is difficult to walk and chew gum at the same time. One sec. Let me stop chewing. Okay. Tuck my gum right there. I'm not going to chew, and I'm going to try to walk. All right. So I'm not chewing now, and I'm going to try to walk. Let's chew again. Let's chew again and see that. Let's just make sure that that wasn't some sort of fluke or something. Okay, I'm going to chew. I'm going to start walking. You know? Stop chewing. Let me walk. You know what? They're right. It really is difficult to walk and chew gum at the same time. They're right. Wow. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. So look, I mean, this was a very scientific experiment. You all saw it. Try it. Try it. Everyone that's watching this video, give it a try. Try it at home. Try it next time you go for a walk. And let me know if you can do it. Let me know if you can walk and chew gum at the same time. I imagine that if you can walk and chew gum at the same time, then perhaps you have a job at the Biden White House. I'm very interested to see if people in Russia or China or do you think Orban can walk and chew gum at the same time? I don't think so. I don't think so. This is quite a revelation. So let me know if you were able to walk and chew gum at the same time. If you can do it, then you're part of a very special elite group of people. What I'm going to do for 2024, let me get rid of my gum here. What I'm going to do for 2024, see, now I can walk, is I'm going to practice every day. And I'm going to see if I can, maybe over a year or two, maybe I will be able to walk and chew gum. Maybe, just maybe. I'll start slow. I'll start by crawling. I'll crawl and chew gum at the same time, and maybe slowly, I'll be able to maybe walk a couple of feet, then maybe a couple of meters, and I don't know. Eventually, maybe I can walk for an extended amount of time while chewing gum, running and chewing gum at the same time. That's no wonder Blinken and Kirby and these guys are at the level that they are. There is no way that Lavrov can walk and chew gum at the same time. Mr. Foreign Minister, with all due respect, if you're watching this video, I don't think you can walk and chew gum at the same time like Blinken can. Anyway, that's the experiment. Let me know in the comments down below if you can pull this off. And let's continue with the news, and we will talk about Project Ukraine now. And Stoltenberg, someone who I imagine can walk and chew gum at the same time. Stoltenberg, he said yesterday during an interview with Germany's Das Erz TV, he said that people in Europe, people in Germany should be prepared for some bad news. That's what Stoltenberg said. We have to be prepared for bad news. Wars move in phases, but we must stand by Ukraine in good and bad times alike. According to Stoltenberg, ramping up production is of decisive importance at this juncture. An incredible statement from Stoltenberg. He is telling the German people, people of Germany, people of Europe, people of NATO, got some bad news coming for Project Ukraine. We're losing. We're losing this war, this conflict. Very bad news. But we have to continue to support Ukraine. We need to continue to provide weapons and money to Ukraine, even though it's closing. It's being lost. We're losing. It's closing. It's closing down. But we need you to continue to invest money. It's the equivalent of, let me think here. Basically, what Stoltenberg is telling the people of Germany, the people of Europe, the people of NATO countries, basically what he is saying is give your money to Ukraine, even though Project Ukraine is about to close. It's like, I know what it's like. I know exactly what it's like. I know exactly what it's like. You see how well I walk when I don't chew gum? Amazing, huh? It's like this cafe right here, closed down. It was open like a couple of weeks ago. So it's like me coming to all of you and saying, invest, invest. And then you coming to me and saying, yeah, but your cafe is closed. Yeah. Invest though. Invest. We have to put money into it. Yeah, but I see it. It closed down. That's all right. Give me $1 million and all is good. Don't worry about the fact that the chairs are gone. There used to be chairs out here. There's a big hole right there. Right in the middle, huge hole, gaping hole. Invest. That's what Stoltenberg is telling the people of Europe. Yeah, it's closing down. It's closing down. You see that it's closing down. You see that it's in pretty bad shape. But just give me some money. Give me some money. That's the analogy. That's it. That is it. So Arestovich, he gave an interview the other day, and Arestovich, he said that a coup is coming in Ukraine. Actually, he said it's either going to be a coup or it's going to be a Maidan 3. That's what Arestovich said. A coup or Maidan 3. A coup is coming. Something's going to happen in Ukraine. I'm telling you right now, something is going to happen in Ukraine. Place your bets, everybody. Place your bets. When is the coup going to happen? How's it going to go down? What's it going to look like? Is it going to be a coup? Is it going to be a Maidan 3 type of uprising? I don't think so. I'm predicting a coup. The military, Zaluzhny, Arestovich, Klitschko, who's now aligned with Zaluzhny, Poroshenko, who's aligned with Zaluzhny and the military. They're gonna make a move. I don't know when, but they're gonna make a move, I think. And we'll see if it's successful. We'll see when it's gonna happen. We'll see what support it has from the collective West. But that's where we're heading towards. Could be wrong. I could be wrong, and maybe Zelensky has such a firm hold of the levers of power that it's going to be impossible for a coup to happen. Maybe Zelensky will be able to get intel on a possible coup, and he'll be able to act against the coup plotters before they go after him. Who knows? But something is cooking up. Something is cooking. Something is cooking. I don't know if that's cooking up. No, that doesn't sound right. Something is cooking. And Arestovich is saying as much. And NBC News, they put out an article with the title, "As its counteroffensive fizzles, Ukraine battles itself, Russia in the shift in the world's attention. Staring down a long and difficult winter, Ukraine is fighting on multiple fronts while the world's attention has shifted to the Israel-Hamas war in the Middle East." And here is what NBC News writes in the first paragraph. Ukraine is battling more than the Russian army. After more than 21 months of grueling war, it's now grasping for the world's attention in the shadows of the conflict in the Middle East. And with its much vaunted counteroffensive fizzling into the snow, with little to show for months of planning and billions in allied military support, Kiev is also beset by growing internal wrangling. Staring down a long and difficult winter, Ukraine is fighting on multiple fronts. That is the first paragraph from NBC News. Growing internal wrangling. When is the coup going to happen? Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? And is Zelensky going to get the intel to prevent it from happening? What a catastrophe. What a mess. Project Ukraine. What a mess. for the United States, for the Biden White House, for the European Union, for the globalists, the elites, and the kleptocrats. And yet they want more money to go into Ukraine. Another 60 billion is what the Biden White House wants to be poured into Project Ukraine. While you have NBC News saying that there is some palace intrigue about to go down, and the counteroffensive fizzling into the snow, the super duper counteroffensive. All right, we're doing okay on time. Let's talk about some other news, and we will wrap this video up. So on the Duran, we did a video on the potential conflict dispute in Guyana, and a vote that was taking place in Venezuela. And the vote happened in Venezuela so that it could pave the way for Venezuela to annex, to claim this territory in Guyana as Venezuelan territory. The important part of this story is that a lot of oil was discovered off the coast of this disputed, a very large territory, this disputed land. A lot of oil was discovered in this area. ExxonMobil actually moved in and started to take advantage of this oil discovery. And Venezuela, they decided to have a referendum so that they can claim this territory, which would eventually, possibly, prevent ExxonMobil from taking this oil. And the United States, the Biden White House, they have already come out in support of Guyana and effectively in support of ExxonMobil and their right to move into this area for the oil exploration. And the referendum happened yesterday, and Venezuelans, they overwhelmingly supported Maduro's referendum, which says that this area in Guyana, on the one side of the river, the Essequibo, got leaves falling on my head, on the Essequibo River, this territory is Venezuelan. That's pretty much what the referendum has decided, what the people of Venezuela have decided. Here is what Maduro said. And by the way, go to the Duran and you'll see the video that we did on this subject. Maduro said, "It has been an amazing journey since September 21st, when the National Assembly responded to the insolence of ExxonMobil and the government of Guyana in trying to divide up the Venezuelan sea pending delimitation, in trying to use the disputed territory to set up bases of the United States and Southern Command aimed against Venezuela." So this is, this could turn into a very, very, very big conflict. This has the makings of turning into a very big, very destructive conflict. The referendum has been in support of Maduro. Those were the results. And I think the whole world awaits to see what Maduro is going to do next, what the Venezuelan military is going to do next, now that they've gotten the referendum results that they were hoping to get. What happens to ExxonMobil? What does the United States do? This is going to be an interesting topic going forward, an interesting story to watch. How does Brazil react? Brazil is trying to broker some sort of peace, but from what I understand, Lula has already moved Brazilian military to the border of this area in anticipation that something bad might go down. We'll see. We will see what Maduro does, and we'll see what response comes from the Biden White House. But if you're the Biden White House, there's no need to worry, because they can chew gum and walk at the same time. So another conflict, no big deal if you're Bidenopolis. You can chew gum and walk at the same time. Let's see. Lukashenko was in China. His second trip this year to China. Interesting development. And Xi Jinping said that China and Belarus will continue their cooperation. One belt, one road. So Lukashenko goes to China. Xi Jinping is very happy to see Lukashenko. In a couple of days, we're going to have the EU leaders, Van der Crazy, Borrell, Michel. They're going to be traveling to China. But I don't think Xi Jinping's going to be happy to see them because they're traveling to China in order to deliver demands to Xi Jinping. Stop supporting Russia, or else we're going to name and shame 13 companies that we believe, 13 Chinese companies that we believe are supporting China in circumventing our 12th or 255th sanctions package against Russia. So they're going to travel to China with demands. And if China doesn't succumb to Van der Crazy's demands, then the EU is going to name and shame Chinese companies and possibly even sanction these 13 Chinese companies. Let's do a clown world now. And in this clown world, let's start things off. I'll do two clown worlds. Let's start things off with this story from Germany. The ex-German foreign minister and one of the founders of the Green Party, Joschka Fischer, the Green politician, ex-German foreign minister Fischer. He said that the EU needs its own nuclear weapons in order to deter Russia, and added that the bloc should also invest in air defenses. Fischer insisted in an interview with Die Welt, published on Sunday, that we must restore our deterrence capability in light of Russia's actions in Ukraine. He also said that Europe cannot afford to let Moscow prevail in Ukraine, with the current conflict being of crucial importance for the continent's future. Fischer, who served as foreign minister and vice chancellor from 1998 to 2005, also played a key role in founding the German Green Party. In 1999, he was Berlin's top diplomat and the Green Party leader. He supported NATO's bombing campaign against Yugoslavia. In 2011, he backed German troops' intervention in Afghanistan. What a clown world we live in. Isn't the Green Party supposed to be about preserving planet Earth? I thought that's what being a Green Party member is all about. I thought it was like people that love peace and Earth and nature. No, at least not the German Green Party. These guys are like massive warmongers. The EU needs its own nuclear weapons. Well, France and the UK, they have nuclear weapons, even though the UK is not part of the EU, but it is part of the EU, kind of. But or it's inching closer to re-entering the European Union. Ursula, the other day, she said that the UK belongs back in the European Union. But look, France, the UK, they have nuclear weapons. But I guess Fischer, he wants more nukes, because that's the Green Party, everybody. They are a bunch of warmongers. Man, are they a bunch of warmongers. Supported the bombing of Yugoslavia and backed German troop intervention in Afghanistan. These guys are bloodthirsty warmongers. Fischer, Annalena Habeck. Wow. Okay, and let's do one more. Clown world from The Guardian. If the Tories needed proof that Rishi Sunak is a loser, they found it in a game of marbles. It's a pretty good title from The Guardian. Too many in his party have the impression that the PM doesn't know what he's doing over Rwanda or the Parthenon sculptures. What did I say yesterday about Sunak? Yeah. Even The Guardian is saying that the guy's lost his marbles. Sunak is an amateur. He's an amateur. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. The Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, and Twitter X, and go to the Duran shop. 20% off. I am wearing my Duran long sleeve Hungry shirt today. Use the code TheDuran20. Take care.